The Tropicana is gone. 67 years of Las Vegas history. The Rat Pack, Elvis. Generations of memories reduced to rubble in a matter of weeks. The Mirage is gone. The volcano that erupted every night for 30 years. The White Tigers. The property that proved Las Vegas could be more than just gambling. Dark, demolished, erased. 2 legendary casinos wiped from the Strip in less than 2 years. If you think that's where it ends, you haven't been paying attention. There's another casino on the Las Vegas Strip right now, a casino you've probably heard of, a casino you might have stayed at, and it's showing every warning sign, every red flag, every signal that screams this building's days are numbered. The writing isn't just on the wall, it's in the financial filings, it's in the maintenance reports, it's in the reviews from guests who walked in expecting nostalgia and walked out feeling like they needed a tetanus shot. I'm going to tell you which casino is next. And I'm going to show you exactly why, so you can see the pattern for yourself. This isn't speculation, I'm not guessing. This is pattern recognition. The same warning signs that preceded Tropicana's demolition announcement. The same red flags that told anyone paying attention that the Mirage was doomed months before the press release. These patterns repeat. The math repeats. The corporate playbook repeats. Once you know what to look for, the next closure becomes obvious. The only question is timing. If you're new here, I decode what's really happening behind the neon. Not the press releases, not the tourism board spin, the financial autopsies that nobody else is performing. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which property to say goodbye to before the announcement drops. But first, you need to understand the warning signs. The specific signals that separate a casino that's struggling from a casino that's dying. There's a difference. Plenty of properties struggle and survive. Plenty get bought and rebranded. But when certain signs appear together when they stack on top of each other, that's when you know. There are 5 of them. 5 warning signs of imminent closure. And one property on the Strip right now is showing all 5. Sign number 1. Ownership that's harvesting, not investing. Every casino requires constant reinvestment, new carpet, fresh paint, updated rooms. The buildings take a beating, thousands of people walking through every day, drinks spilling, cigarettes burning, the desert sun fading everything. When ownership stops putting money back in, it's a signal. They've done the math. They've decided the future of this building isn't worth investing in. Money flows out, nothing flows back. The building slowly starves. Sign number 2, deferred maintenance visible to paying guests. Casinos hide problems all the time. Behind the scenes, things break constantly. That's normal. But when paying customers can see the neglect when the decay is visible from the hotel room, from the hallway, from the casino floor, that's different. That means they've stopped caring what you think. They've calculated that your complaints don't matter. When the rot becomes visible, it's already terminal. Sign number 3. Land value exceeding building value. This is the death sentence. The moment the dirt underneath a casino becomes worth more than the structure sitting on it. Because at that point, the math flips. Every dollar spent maintaining the building is a dollar wasted. Every day the casino operates is a day delaying the bigger payday. The Strip is some of the most valuable real estate on Earth. When a building stops earning its place on that land, the bulldozers start warming up. Sign number 4, workforce reductions that guests can feel. Not the quiet layoffs that happen in corporate offices, the cuts that affect service. Housekeeping stretched too thin, security that's nowhere to be found, front desk lines that never shrink. When they start cutting the people you interact with, they've stopped pretending. Sign number 5, ownership testing the market. Quiet conversations with potential buyers. Feelers going out to developers. Not a public sale that would tank the stock price. Just whispers. Just what-if meetings. When ownership starts exploring the exit, the clock is ticking. 5 warning signs. 5 red flags that spell doom when they appear together. 1. Harvest mode money out, nothing in. 2. Visible decay rot the guests can see. 3. Land over building dirt worth more than the structure. 4. Staffing cuts, service collapsing. 5. Testing the market, ownership eyeing the exit. Any one of these is concerning. 2 or 3 is serious. All 5? All 5 is a death certificate waiting to be signed. And right now, one iconic Las Vegas casino is checking every single box. It's not the property you'd expect. It's not the one making headlines. It's the one that's dying in plain sight while the tourists keep walking through the doors. Let me show you the short list, and then I'll show you which one won't survive. Let's narrow it down. There are several properties on the strip showing distress signals right now. Casinos bleeding money, casinos deferring maintenance, casinos whose owners are clearly looking for the exit. But not all distress is terminal. Some casinos will struggle and survive. Some will get bought and rebranded. Some will limp along for another decade before anything changes. Only one is truly circling the drain. Only one has the full constellation of warning signs pointing toward imminent closure. Let me show you the short list and explain why most of them will survive. First up, the Strat. You know the one. That tower at the far north end of the strip, standing alone like a lighthouse nobody visits. 1,000 feet of concrete watching over a stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard that tourists avoid after dark. The Strat has problems. Serious problems. Location curse. It's a 15-minute walk from the nearest major casino, and nobody walks 15 minutes in the Vegas heat. 0 foot traffic. Years of minimal investment. A reputation as the place you stay when you can't afford anywhere else. On paper, this looks like a closure candidate, but here's why the Strat survives. The land behind that tower, acres of it, undeveloped, waiting. Golden Entertainment, the company that owns the Strat, isn't stupid. They know the North Strip is a wasteland right now. They also know that development is slowly creeping northward. The new resort projects, the expansion plans, the long-term trajectory. They're playing a waiting game. Keep the tower operational, keep the cash flowing, wait for the neighborhood to change. The Strat isn't dying, it's hibernating, waiting for its moment. Cross it off the list. But the next contender? Much deeper trouble. A property that burned through $2 billion trying to resurrect itself. A property with occupancy rates that would make a bankruptcy attorney salivate. A property whose owners have been quietly shopping it for months with no takers. The Sahara Las Vegas. If you remember the old Sahara, the real Sahara, from the Rat Pack era, forget it. That building is long gone. What stands there now is a $2 billion resurrection attempt that hasn't worked. The Meruelo family bought the corpse of the old SLS Las Vegas and tried to bring the Sahara name back to life. New rooms, new restaurants, new everything. $2 billion later, the results are in. Occupancy in the mid-50s on good weekends. Empty hallways on Tuesday nights. A casino floor that echoes. Revenue that doesn't come close to covering the debt service. Every metric says this property is underwater. But the Sahara has one thing protecting it, the name. That brand Sahara still means something. It has history. It has recognition. It has marketing value that some deep-pocketed buyer will eventually pay for. The Meruelos will lose money. They'll sell at a discount. But someone will buy it. Someone will try again. The location is too good right at the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Sahara Avenue to let it rot. The Sahara is drowning, but someone will throw it a rope, cross it off the list. One more contender, one that's closer to the edge than most people realize. A property that was once sacred ground, that hosted the biggest poker tournament in the world for decades, that's now strangled by a loan so predatory it makes payday lenders look charitable. The Rio. Once upon a time, this was the home of the World Series of Poker. Every summer, the best card players on earth descended on the Rio. The hallways buzzed with legends. The poker room was hallowed ground. Then the WSOP left, moved to the Strip, and the Rio started dying. New ownership came in with promises. Dreamscape companies, big plans, renovation timelines, a return to glory. What they actually brought was a $176 million C-PACE loan. That's a special kind of financing that attaches to the building itself. It gets paid before everything else. Before the banks, before the vendors, before the employees. That loan is eating the Rio alive. Every month, the debt gets hungrier. Every month, less money is available for actual operations. But the Rio has one thing saving it from this list. It's off-strip. Different economics. Different land values, different calculus entirely. The Rio sits on Flamingo Road, a mile west of Las Vegas Boulevard. That land isn't worth what strip frontage is worth. The pressure to demolish and rebuild isn't the same. The Rio might fail, the Rio might get foreclosed, but it's not getting bulldozed for a luxury tower. The math doesn't work that way off-strip. Cross it off the list. 3 contenders, 3 properties in serious trouble. None of them are the one. The property I'm talking about is worse. Much worse. It's not struggling to find its footing. It's not waiting for a rescue. It's not protected by location or brand value. It's on the Strip, prime real estate, acres of it. It's iconic, a name that millions of Americans recognize from childhood. And the owner, a billionaire who knows exactly what he's doing, has made it crystal clear through his actions that he's running this property into the ground on purpose. Not neglect, strategy. He's waiting for the day when demolition is more profitable than operation. And that day is coming faster than anyone wants to admit. Let me introduce you to the frontrunner, Circus Circus. Say that name out loud, feel what it does to you. If you're over 40, it probably triggers something, a memory, a feeling. The first time you walked through those doors as a kid, the trapeze artist swinging overhead, the smell of popcorn and cotton candy, the midway games where you won a stuffed animal that fell apart before you got home. Circus Circus was the place that proved Las Vegas could be for families, that you didn't need to be a high roller to feel the magic. That place is dying. If you've stayed there recently, if you've walked those hallways in the past year, you know. The smell hits you first. Not popcorn anymore. Marijuana and mildew, that damp organic rot that tells you something is growing in the walls, something that shouldn't be there. The carpet squishes in places, not wet exactly, just soft. Like it's absorbed decades of spilled drinks and never fully dried. The rooms feel tired, not vintage, not retro, tired. Furniture that's been repaired instead of replaced. Bathrooms with caulk that's turned gray. Air conditioning units that rattle like they're begging for retirement. This isn't a casino showing its age. This is a casino being allowed to die. And that's not an accident. The man who owns Circus Circus is worth over $1 billion. He owns Treasure Island down the street. He knows exactly how to run a casino. He knows what investment looks like. He knows what maintenance requires. He's choosing not to do it here. His name is Phil Ruffin, and what he's doing to Circus Circus is deliberate. Phil Ruffin bought Circus Circus in 2019 for around $825 million. At the time, people thought he'd renovate it, modernize it, do what he did with Treasure Island, take a tired property and squeeze new life into it. Instead, he did the opposite. Minimal investment, skeleton staffing, maintenance deferred to the point of visible decay. Every dollar that could be extracted, extracted. Every expense that could be cut, cut. This isn't mismanagement. Phil Ruffin doesn't mismanage anything. This is a strategy. And the strategy makes perfect sense if you understand what he's actually buying. He's not buying a casino. He never was. He's buying land. Prime Las Vegas Strip frontage. Acres of it. Some of the most valuable real estate in the Western Hemisphere. The building sitting on that land, that's just a placeholder, a cash machine to run while he waits. And every year he waits, the land gets more valuable while the building gets more worthless. Let me show you the math. Circus Circus sits on approximately 68 acres. 68 acres of prime strip frontage stretching from Las Vegas Boulevard deep into the surrounding blocks. Strip land sells for anywhere from $15 to $40 million per acre, depending on location and timing. Let's be conservative. Let's say Circus Circus land is worth $20 million per acre. 68 acres times 20 million. That's $1.36 billion. In dirt, Phil Ruffin paid $825 million for the whole thing, buildings included. The land alone is worth more than he paid. The buildings are just bonus cash flow while he waits for the right moment. So why would he spend money maintaining those buildings? Every dollar he puts into renovation goes into a structure he's planning to demolish. Every upgrade increases the value of something he intends to tear down. That's not investment, that's waste. Instead, he runs it hot, extracts every dollar, lets the building decay just slowly enough to stay operational, keeps the cash register ringing while the walls crumble. And every year, the gap between land value and building value widens. Every year, the math gets more obvious. Every year, the demolition date gets closer. Phil Ruffin isn't running Circus Circus into the ground because he doesn't know better. He's running it into the ground because it's the optimal financial strategy. The guests who stay there, collateral damage. The employees who work there, temporary. The memories that place holds for millions of Americans, irrelevant to the spreadsheet. But don't take my word for it. Don't trust my analysis. Let me show you what's actually happening inside that building right now. The reviews, the photos, the first-hand accounts from people who paid money to stay there. It's worse than you think. Much worse. I've read hundreds of reviews from the past 12 months. Not the old ones. Not the reviews from 5 years ago when things were merely disappointing. The recent ones. From 2024, from 2025, from people who booked a room, paid money, and walked into Circus Circus expecting something. What they got was a horror story. Let me show you what guests are actually experiencing inside that building right now. Mold. That word appears in review after review after review. Not musty smell, not older building. Mold, visible mold. Growing on bathroom ceilings. Spreading across walls near the air conditioning vents. Black spots clustering in corners that housekeeping hasn't touched in months. Parents posting photos of mold in the room where their children slept. Guests with asthma having attacks within hours of checking in. People demanding refunds and being told no, the room meets standards. What standards? Whose standards? This isn't cosmetic, this is a health hazard. This is the kind of thing that gets buildings condemned, and it's spreading through Circus Circus like an infection. But the mold is just what you can see. What you smell is worse. That signature Circus Circus odor that hits you the moment the elevator doors open. Marijuana and mildew, a cocktail of neglect that saturates the hallways and seeps into your clothes. Guests report the smell lingering on their luggage for days after checkout. That damp, organic rot that tells you something is wrong with this building at a fundamental level. The elevators break constantly. Handwritten out of order signs taped to doors with masking tape. Guests walking 10 flights of stairs because only one elevator is working in an entire tower. Elderly visitors trapped on upper floors, waiting hours for maintenance that never comes. Water leaks fixed with buckets on the floor, not repaired, not patched. Buckets, placed in hallways, catching drips from ceilings. In a hotel you're paying to stay in. Carpet stains that tell stories you don't want to hear. Patterns that were chosen specifically to hide dirt and failing at that job now. Hallways that haven't seen a deep clean since the Obama administration. And the rooms themselves. Furniture held together with hope and duct tape. Dresser drawers that don't close. Bathroom fixtures that wobble when you touch them. Beds with mattresses so worn you can feel the springs through the padding. One reviewer described their room as what a crime scene looks like after they remove the body. They're not wrong. But the physical decay, as bad as it is, isn't even the scariest part. When you cut staffing to the bone, something has to give. At Circus Circus, what gave was security. Throughout 2024 and into 2025, reports of security failures have piled up. Not minor incidents, real problems. Thefts from rooms while guests were sleeping. Cars broken into in the parking garage multiple times per week, according to some accounts. Fights breaking out on the casino floor with no security response. Drug deals happening openly in stairwells. That feeling you get walking through after midnight. The sense that nobody is watching. That nobody is in control, that you're on your own in a building full of strangers and no one is coming if something goes wrong. Security guards cost money, $12, $15, $18 an hour. Benefits, training, supervision. When you're extracting maximum cash from a building you plan to demolish, every guard you don't hire is profit. So they cut, and cut, and cut again. The guests who get robbed? That's a cost of doing business. The lawsuits that might come? Factored into the spreadsheet. The reputation damage? Irrelevant when you're not planning to operate long-term anyway. Phil Ruffin isn't protecting the guest experience. He's protecting the profit margin. And every dollar he doesn't spend on security is a dollar that goes into his pocket. Mold in the rooms, stench in the hallways, elevators that don't work, water leaking from ceilings. Security that's nowhere to be found, guests feeling unsafe in their own rooms. Every warning sign screaming that this building is past the point of no return. This isn't deferred maintenance. This is controlled demolition in slow motion. Phil Ruffin is letting this building die one system at a time, one complaint at a time, one guest at a time. The only question left is, when? When does the announcement come? When do the bulldozers arrive? When does Circus Circus officially become another ghost on the Las Vegas Strip? The answer is closer than you think. So when does it happen? When does Phil Ruffin decide the extraction is complete? When does the announcement drop? When do the bulldozers finally roll in and reduce Circus Circus to rubble? The answer isn't a mystery, it's math. And the math is almost done. Here's how the equation works in Phil Ruffin's head. Every year, Circus Circus generates cash. resort fees from tourists who don't know better, gambling revenue from the slot floor, parking fees, food and beverage markups, all of it flowing upward while almost nothing flows back down. That cash extraction has a limit. At some point, and that point is approaching the cost of keeping the building operational exceeds the revenue it generates. The mold remediation you can't defer anymore. The elevator repairs you can't postpone. The health department violations you can't ignore. The lawsuits that start piling up. When the cost of staying open exceeds the profit of staying open, the calculation flips. Industry analysts I've spoken with put that timeline somewhere in the next 18 to 36 months. Maybe sooner. Maybe much sooner if a major incident forces Ruffin's hand. A fire, a health department shutdown, a lawsuit that makes national news. Something that makes continued operation impossible or too expensive to justify. The building is a liability now. It's just a question of when that liability exceeds the cash flow. When it happens, it'll follow the same pattern as Tropicana and Mirage. A press release will go out, carefully worded, focus grouped, designed to sound like good news. They'll talk about exciting new developments, about reimagining the property, about investing in the future of Las Vegas, about world-class experiences coming to the site. Translation: the building is coming down, something new is going up, and the place that gave millions of families their first Vegas memory will be reduced to a pile of concrete and rebar. The employees will get 60 days notice, maybe 90 if they're lucky. The ones who've worked there for decades, the dealers who remember when the place was packed, the housekeepers who've been cleaning those rooms since before the mold started spreading, the security guards, the few who remain who tried to keep people safe with no resources and no backup. They'll get a form letter, a severance package if they're lucky, and then they're gone. Nobody in that press release will mention them. But here's what really gets lost when Circus Circus closes. It's not just a building, it's not just jobs, it's the end of an idea. The idea that Las Vegas could be for everyone, that you didn't need to be rich to experience the magic, that a working-class family from Ohio could save up for a year, drive across the desert, and walk into a building where their kids' eyes went wide with wonder. The trapeze artists overhead, the Midway Games, the Adventure Dome, the circus acts that performed for free while you ate your hot dog and dreamed about what else was possible. That was Circus Circus. That was its gift to Las Vegas. And what replaces it? Another luxury tower, another resort for whales who don't exist in the numbers developers promise. Another monument to the financialization of Las Vegas. Rooms starting at $400 a night. Restaurants where a steak costs more than some families spend on groceries in a week. A property designed to extract maximum dollars from minimum guests. The working class Vegas that Circus Circus represented? That Vegas is being bulldozed. One property at a time, one childhood memory at a time. And when Circus Circus goes, that vision of Las Vegas goes with it. So consider this video a warning. If you have memories of Circus Circus, if you took your kids there, if your parents took you there, if that building means something to you, the window is closing. Go back one more time. Walk through the Midway. Watch the trapeze artists. Let your kids win an overpriced stuffed animal that'll fall apart before you get home. Because soon, that option won't exist. The big top is coming down. And it's not going back up. Hit subscribe if you want to know when the announcement drops. I'm watching the filings, the permits, the real estate transactions, the signals that tell you what's coming before the press release lands. Drop a comment. Did you ever stay at Circus Circus? Do you have memories from the Adventure Dome? From the Midway? From the days when that place meant something? Share them, because soon those memories will be the only thing left. The bulldozers are patient, but they're coming. For Circus Circus, and for the idea of Las Vegas it represented. I'll see you in the next one.